Good morning, all of you. Good morning, my dear students. Students, I welcome all of you to today's moral science class. In today moral science, we are going to discuss about an important virtue, that is simplicity. You know that we all people, we are crazy for using branded items like branded shirts, branded mobiles, and branded cars, and all other luxurious items. We all love to use that luxurious item, thinking that it will raise our standard in front of others, standard in the society. Others will see us with respect if we use these branded items. So everyone, they are crazy to get the branded items. Means we want to show in front of others. We love to live a luxurious life because we think that the people, those who are using these luxurious items or costlier item, their mind is peaceful and happy. But we speak about simplicity today. The real happiness or the real beauty of a person that lies in simplicity. What is simplicity? Simplicity is living a life that is less hectic and shallow. Hectic means feverish. Feverish means very busy and always tensions and busy. That is called hectic. So leading a life that is less hectic, less feverish, and less shallow, that is called simplicity. Simplicity means simply we can say that freedom from all the luxuries and complexities. Freedom from all the luxuries and complexities. That is called simplicity. So a person who is simple, he is beautiful. Beauty lies in simplicity. We can say that beauty lies in simplicity. It is as beautiful as our nature. Nature is natural. Everything is natural. In the nature, whatever we see, what are the things that we see in nature? They are natural, and natural things are simple things, not complexities in that. So the beauty of every person, that depends upon how simple he is, because simplicity is beauty. Beauty is simplicity. A person who is simple, no need to wear ornaments in order to become beautiful, because simplicity itself means that is beauty. So it is very necessary that we should practice simplicity in our life. A simple life, you know that a simple life is not filled with tensions and complications and distractions. Simple life is not filled with complications and distraction. So it is a life that is lived focusing on the things that matters to a person. Focusing on the things that matters on the person. So whatever we need for our essential existence, whatever we need, that only we have to use. Therefore, a person who practices simplicity, he will focus on the things that is essentially needed for him. He will not be crazy for getting costlier item, luxurious item in order to show in front of others. He do not use that things. That means his life will be calm and simple, and he will be focused on that simple matters. So his life will be free from complications and distractions. So when we practice or when we understand the simplicity, very little thing, that the little things in life which we have not noticed before becomes the very big things, and that creates some happiness, because it creates some moments of happiness or moments of joy. So the very little thing that we have not taken care before, that seems to be great things to us if we practice a simple life. Simplicity. That is the importance of simplicity. Why it is important? Why we want to practice simplicity in our life? Because it makes the things very easy. When you focus on simplicity, your creative work, that becomes easier to understand and easier to use. So when we follow simplicity, it makes everything, makes all the things very easy. That is why the simplicity is important. It is necessary that we should practice simplicity in our life. We can see many people around us. Means very rich people in the society, they are spending millions of rupees on luxurious items, celebrations, or marriage functions. They invite the leaders, politicians, and very high people in the society, richest people in the society, actors, politicians, and everyone that they do not even know. They invite them, and they spend millions of rupees on celebrations and food and other functions. And at last, half of the food prepared for that function will become waste after the function is over, and it will be thrown away. At the same time, there are many poor people in the neighborhood. They are starving, or not even they can't afford to manage even the food for one time in a day. So there are such people in the society. They show their vanity. So this uncontrolled, this wanton splurge of money, that means uncontrolled spending of money, and this unlimited display of opulence. Opulence means wealth that we cannot justify. It is unwarranted. We can't justify that, this kind of uncontrolled use of money and unwanted display of the wealth. Because many people around us, they are in lack of even the one's food for a day. We find that the happiest people are those who they value the simplicity. The real happiness of a person, that lies on simplicity. So simplicity is the key to peace and happiness. Simplicity means keeping the most essential thing. Shunning means avoiding anything that is beyond these things. A simple person, he is satisfied, he is contented with his basic things. He will not be greedy, or he is not highly ambitious. He is not jealous for others. And for his happiness, he does not look to things that he does not have. He is satisfied with whatever he has. And his house and his clothes, his food and his lifestyle, and all his maintenance is so easy because he is always opt for the simple thing. So he will be mentally and physically healthy. So simplicity, that is the base of real happiness. Our chapter describes the story of a businessman from Pune, Maharashtra. His name is Datta Fuge. He has a peculiar character that he used to wear a dress that is made up of gold, costing millions of rupees. That means 15 million rupees was the cost of his dress. And in addition to that, he has worn a lot of gold ornaments in order to attract the attention of the people. A few years before, in 2016, he was brutally attacked by a group of young men and was killed. And some of these men were the friends of his son also. And before his son reached to the place where this tragic incident has happened, before that, his father has left the world. He died. So it is said that the vanity of Datta that led to his horrific death. The story of Ishwar Chandra Vidya Sagar was a real personification of simplicity. He was born in 1802 in West Bengal. 1820, he was born in 1820 in Midnipur. Midnipur was in West Bengal. Actually, Vidyasagar, as his name indicates, the ocean of knowledge. Vidya Sagar, a ocean of knowledge. He was a philosopher, scholar, and academician. Academician means an educationist, educator, and poet. He's a printer and also a publisher, translator, and social reformer, entrepreneur. Entrepreneur means a business person, means those who start new ventures. They are called entrepreneurs. The person who starts new ventures, they are called the entrepreneurs. So he is an entrepreneur and also he was a philanthropist. That means in various spheres, he was an expert, a scholar. That's why he is called Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar. Actually, he is a real personification of simplicity. He was a man of extreme simplicity and he always wore simple clothes and he ate very cheap meals, means ordinary food. And whenever he goes for a journey, he carries his luggages and walks miles on foot. And he was also a very kind-hearted person. Whenever he was traveling on transports, and he used to offer his help in carrying the burdens of others, means the luggages of others also. So even though he was a scholar and entrepreneur and poet, or he was an expert in all the fields, he was very simple. And our lesson describes a story that happened in Ishwar Chandra Vidyasagar's life. On one day, he was going to attend a conference that was led by him. And he got down at the nearest railway station in order to attend the conference. And another passenger also, he was traveling by the same train and he was also going to attend the conference. When he got down, that person was calling for a coolie. Coolie means a loader to carry his luggages. Because he had some luggages. And he could not find out any coolie to pick up his luggage. At that time, he saw Ishwar Chandra Vidya Sagar. He was wearing simple clothes. And he mistook Vidya Sagar for a coolie and asked him to take his luggage. So without any hesitation, Vidya Sagar, he took his luggages and the passenger accompanied him to the place where this conference was held. On reaching the place, he offered Vidya Sagar some money for carrying his luggages, but Vidya Sagar, he declined that offer with a smile. But after a few moments, to his astonishment, he found that Vidyasagar was the chief guest of that conference and the main speaker of that conference. So students, this incident that shows that how simple Vidyasagar was. That is why he is called the real personification of simplicity. So dear students, like Vidyasagar, we are also liable to practice simplicity in our life. We should not be crazy for all the ostentatious things, means the articles of ostentation, articles of luxuries, articles of pomposity, articles of vanity. We should not be crazy for that. We should be happy to be simple in our life and humble. Many great people, they found happiness in simplicity. The father of our nation, Mahatma Gandhi, you know that how great he is. When he died, with him there was nothing, only his clothes, his slippers, his spectacles. He was so simple. And also our former President of India and the great scientist, missile man of India, APJ Abdul Kalam. He was a real figure of simplicity. Even though he was the President of India, he never showed his position for showing his pomposity. He was a humble man. He was born in a humble family, and he practiced that simplicity in his life, all through his life. Actually, he could have used all the topmost facilities, luxuries in his life. But he did not went for that. He considered knowledge is very important. So from the life of these great people, we will be inspired to practice simplicity in our life. So, dear students, the life of these great people that demands us that we should also practice simplicity in our life. How can we practice simplicity in our life? First, we have to show the gratitude. And we should spend for the quality, not for the quantity. We buy everything in quality, not in quantity. We should not show vanity, our vanity to others. And we should spend time for others. We have to understand our values. Spend time for others. So in this way we can practice the gratitude in our life. With this, we can concentrate the mind through meditation. So these are the ways through which we can practice simplicity in our life. So dear students, I want to stop today's session by showing some incidents that shows how simple APJ Abdul Kalam was in his life. I will show a short video. You just watch that video.
Simplicity and humility was the hallmark of India's missile man APJ Abdul Kalam. There are numerous examples that reflect the humane face of Dr. Kalam. Many of them were never publicized. During his visits to Uttar Pradesh, Abdul Kalam often ensured that his motorcade stopped at dhabas so that he could get a cup of hot tea. The dhabas or roadside eateries that he chose to stop at were ordinary ones, serving tea in plastic cups to the great man who sat in a plastic chair along with others. So what was it that drew the missile man to the dhabas of Uttar Pradesh? It's not tea, but the tea seller. The then president said the whole idea is to discover how one man, let's say the roadside tea seller, serves tea to nearly 100 or more people in a day and at the same time cleans utensils, collects money and welcomes customers with a smile. Another time, as chief guest at the Ramnath Goenka Awards, Kalam stayed on for the debate rather than leaving after giving his speech and the awards. He got involved in the debate on media ethics and nation building from the front row.
How we are lifting up every year, do we reduce the people below poverty line? Third one, nobody talked about, that's value system. Value system comes from 200 million people.
And then he hauled himself on the stage floor and carried on arguing and intervening sitting on the floor.
But the agenda, what I suggest, that you can calibrate what is the national development. That is 220 million people are below poverty line. So how do you bring them up? How do you bring them up? So that is the agenda. There may be many development going on agriculture to any subject. But agenda is very clear. 220 million people are below poverty, 22% of the people below poverty line. How do you lift them up? What contribution do you make?
Once, during a convocation of IIT Varanasi, Dr. Kalam, who was then president, refused to sit on a chair that was designated for him because the chair was larger in size than the other chairs. Noticing his chair being bigger in size than the others, Kalam refused to sit on it and offered the chair to the Vice Chancellor to sit instead. The VC obviously couldn't sit on the larger chair and another chair was made available immediately for the People's President. Another incident. It was a cold winter night in 2003 when the convoy of President APJ Abdul Kalam was entering Rashtrapati Bhavan. The president suddenly stepped out of his car, creating some tense moments for his security personnel. Mr. Kalam met guards of the Indo-Tibetan Border Police at the gate and wondered why they had to brave the biting cold. He ordered heaters for the security cabins and adequate warm clothes for the guards. These were just few of the many instances that reflect the humane face of Dr. Kalam.